Today we're going to be learning about density through this short little experiment. I hope you enjoy.
So you're going to need some sort of clear cup or container. You're also going to need 3 ingredients. So I'm using dish soap, this is Dawn dish soap, some vinegar, I'm using apple cider vinegar, and then oil. I'm using olive oil, as you can see here, and let's get started. So you're going to go ahead and pour some soap into your cup. I added about this much so I can see my soap but not waste too much soap. And after pouring that into your container, we're going to go ahead and pour some apple cider vinegar. Again, you can pour as much as you'd like, but I'm not pouring too much. So now we're going to go ahead and pour our olive oil into our cup. Okay, so you see I've poured it in already, and you can see that the soap is still at the bottom, the apple cider vinegar is in the middle, and the oil has floated to the top, and it's not going down. It's made its own layer. You can see here there's 3 different layers for our 3 different ingredients. So we're going to go ahead and move this around a bit. You can like shake it up a bit, and you'll see that they're staying in their separate layers. They're not mixing. So now we're going to talk about why this happens. So what we just saw was a result of different densities. So density is how much mass and volume is in a certain space, how much something takes up. And this depends on how big, how thick, how small, how heavy, how light. So if something is bigger, it has a higher density than something smaller. Obviously, this can also apply to liquids. So liquids have density and they take up space, and therefore they have mass and they have density. So why do the liquids not mix? Why are they staying in these different layers? Because of their different densities, they react differently when put together. So the soap has a much higher density, so if instead of floating, it sinks to the bottom, and the oil has much lighter density, so it floats to the top and it stays at the top. And because of how different their densities are, they create these 3 different layers. So our olive oil is lighter than the vinegar, the soap is heavier than both, and that's why they are in this specific layers that they are in. The denser one is always at the bottom, the least dense will always be at the top. So we can also find density through calculations. For example, our formula for density is mass divided by volume. Mass is the weight of an item, and volume is the space that the item takes up. So the liquids also aren't mixing because they are immiscible. What does it mean for these liquids to be immiscible? It means that they don't mix. That's all it means. It just means they don't mix. That's why they're in these layers. That's why when we moved it around, they still didn't come together and form something else.
So that was our short little experiment. I hope that you learned something about how liquids are immiscible and about their different densities and why they did what they did in that cup or container that you used. Of course, you could try different liquids. For example, if you were to use water and add water, your experiment would look very, very different. It would have a different result. But of course, that's the fun of it. You can add what you'd like to it. So I hope that you learned something, and thank you for joining me. Bye.